Looks like you've been added to the close friends list. Welcome to the new and improved Close Friends List podcast, your weekly dose of laughs, gossip, and really whatever pops into our mind. As you know, the close friends list is always changing and always evolving, so make sure you stay a part of ours. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts and on social media at Close Friends List Pod. We're so excited to have you as a close friend. Now, on to the episode. Welcome back to the Close Friends List podcast, everyone. We are your hosts, even though we may look a little different today because we are in costume because it's a whole Hallow-WEEK instead of weekend like you did in college or just Halloween. Like
It's
it
Hallow-WEEK.
is any day. So it's Hallow-WEEK for us.
I will
so
say,
you'll be getting many
only two
eps.
of us are actually dressed up. You, Aaron, you're just dressing for success, for your future.
Exactly.
Like,
you need to dress for the job you want.
exactly.
And that's what I'm doing. So
I wouldn't even call it a costume.
Arguably, I would
honestly,
say same.
it's just I put the sunglasses on
You're
and
practicing.
that made it a
You're
costume.
practicing. Yeah. 100%. And if I have to say, it's the best one because it's the most realistic.
I'm just saying, just for the job you want, ladies.
I am dressed for the job I want. Hello.
So true.
Like, what are we?
So true.
Although, could I leave my whole life behind? I don't know. It's a lot.
Well, we do have a special guest today, and I feel like we should introduce him.
The elephant in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take it away, agent.
Mr. Man behind us. This is Darren. He's not from this world.
You traveled a long way to be here.
For sure. Don't know where he's from. I don't speak his language. So, we're running into some barriers. But for anybody watching, the answers you need are here. He's just my pet dog. Don't worry about it. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
What are you cooking up for us
So
today,
funny.
Dia?
I'm cooking up. I'm grilling up. I'm frying up the grill. I got some kebabs. I got some links.
Yum.
And some ribs.
Yeah.
So
That's a good party. That's a party time.
that's what I'm
So
saying. I'm grilling it up. I wish I had a good pun. I didn't prepare one, but I'm sure I'll find one
It'll come.
eventually
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
the
yeah.
end. Yeah. But
yeah. Halfway through, you'll be like,
Actually, yes. Yeah. But I'm feeling it. I like a simple outfit. Me and Aaron, we didn't celebrate Halloween, so I am
this is as good as you're going to
this
get,
is
honestly.
the best. Yeah, this is the best that I've done, I think, my entire life of dressing up for Halloween. So
I will say I do feel like I was the most prepared for this. I came with like 10 outfit choices for Adia.
You had options.
Nobody just has this lying around. I mean, it's not even a Halloween situation. Some of the stuff I just have.
Which is incredible.
Like the capes, I
love
have.
it.
Those are just
Like,
everyday items in your
I
closet.
bought this grill not even for Halloween. It was just on sale. Like it was just.
I wish I could. I wish I could, but
it's a whole thing. It's a lifestyle. Like
everything.
it is. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm jealous. Last year, I dressed up. I went out in Oceanfront and I was a cowboy, and all I did was wear a cowboy hat. So
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I feel like people have stuff, but it is,
it
like,
was just
fun to
a
do
hat,
something fresh,
that I wanted to wear to Beyonce's tour. So that's the only reason, like, I had that. But
Well,
yeah,
a win's a win. A hat's a hat.
a hat's a hat, and a costume
Really?
is what you make of it.
Exactly.
It's all about the imagination.
I mean, my week is the same as every other week, busy with work, and I hate everything. So, like, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer that starts off this podcast every week. Well, work was crazy. I need a new job, kind of thing. So,
I guess that's it. You got no highlights for this week? No peaks?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I have a couple loves, but they're for the Loves and Nicks portion of this
Okay.
That's
podcast.
fair.
So,
That's fair. Take it
All
away,
right.
Adia.
Yeah. I had a pretty solid week, I have to say. Surprisingly, comparatively to the past weeks, this was definitely an up. Definitely took some dubs. Found out we had a dedicated listener.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Well, we have a few, but definitely the one you're thinking was a new dedicated listener.
and
So
A new one.
I'm just really excited that the pod's getting out there. It's really reaching audiences, and yeah, that just really made my week. It was just nice to know that people are listening.
100% agree. 100%
Honestly.
agree.
Yeah, so that's always a great time. And then yeah, I mean, gosh, other than that, pretty regular week. Swamped as hell, tired as hell, but
You're on the upswing
we're
now.
yeah,
You're,
that's what I'm
Life.
saying.
Yeah.
We're grinding. We're grinding.
Exactly.
So
We love. I didn't have too much go on this week. I went to a lot of movies. I
good.
did.
You have to make up for last month. So
Well, the problem is I saw too many and I had to
Yeah.
buy a ticket.
ooh,
I know, but no fees because I,
okay.
whatever. I did a double feature of Beetlejuice and Megalopolis. Beetlejuice is okay. Megalopolis, I had the time of my life in that theater.
I heard.
It's like, was it good? That's not the question. You know what I mean?
an
Like,
experience.
It was a
Yeah,
time.
that's not what we're asking. Yeah.
Exactly. It was a time. And then I get home and Scott's like, I want to see The Wild Robot. I'm like, I don't have any more tickets for this week because we were going to Pharrell yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. That's okay. Movie was still good.
That's good.
But The Wild Robot was really good. We loved that. And we might have another dedicated listener, TBD. My mom texted me because I sent a photo of the fit for today. And my mom was like, can you text your aunt the link to your podcast? Because she's visiting. And like I was talking about it a little bit. So TBD.
All right.
We'll see.
Wow.
Just making rounds.
I know.
We
I
love
mean,
to hear
Love
it.
that.
You do. But yeah, not too much really happened. I feel like I was at AMC a lot this week.
As you should.
You know what? Back to the norm. Back to
Honestly,
the
so
daily
true.
schedule.
I did okay because I know one time I was like, "Ugh, I have to drive all the way there, blah blah blah. But this weekend I was kind of like, the drive is not that bad.
Yeah.
Like it was in my head.
You got to get back to
Yeah.
who you really are.
I know. I mean, the thing is I've started making popcorn at home, and
I was
now I'm
gonna
like,
ask, yeah, what was going on with your popcorn?
I know. Although you guys will see at the end of the year, I have a whole spreadsheet. I'm tracking every ticket I had, every ticket I bought, including like
that.
for Scott or whoever, and then any concessions I bought. So I've only it's October. I've been to the movies about 40 times, or like I've seen about 40 movies.
And there's 52 weeks in
Hey.
the year.
Yeah. I've only bought popcorn.
You know
like,
what? That puts it into perspective, Adia. Thank you for that 52 weeks. Because I was like, okay, wait, like, it's 10 months. Like, that's not bad. But you said 52 weeks in a year. So that puts it into perspective.
And
there
out
we
of
go.
about 40-ish movies, I've bought popcorn 12 times.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh,
That's
I'm
nothing.
shocked.
Nothing.
That's a shocking number, actually.
It is, but it's because I'm making it at home. So I'm like satiated. I'm not like
Yeah, let's
salivating
see
when
that
I walk
number.
in.
Let's see that number.
My 8-pound box is almost gone.
There we go.
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
I got more coming in the mail. But anyway, moving on. It was a good time this week. But who does have our question this week? Is it Erin?
I wrote down one just like random since this correlates to the topic we're talking about today. Do you have any unsolved mysteries in your life?
I do.
Would you be willing to share it?
Yeah, that's the next question.
Yes.
That's the next one.
Yes. Erin, I feel like my unsolved mystery is kind of similar to yours. Or I would say mine is also could be considered your unsolved mystery as well. But like 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was someone on Instagram that kept making accounts and commenting like just the most sarcastic like comments on my stuff. Like
I feel like you posted on close
Yeah.
friends like who is the or
Like,
like
who,
he-
like-
heckling them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were hecklers.
Yeah.
And like it was kind of funny because like I think one of the comments one time was like, do you really think that looks like your real hair or something
Oh
like that?
my
Like,
God,
they were-
block.
yeah, like they were really frying me up, but like
Yeah.
I couldn't be
Oh my
mad at it
gosh.
because like I was like, oh shit, you're right. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like little stuff like that. Like every here and there. And they would always be in the views. And then there came a point where I changed my Instagram username and they took my old Instagram username and then and had
Oh.
commented. So like my username used to be like a.adia with like 4 A's.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I changed it and then they took that one, the old one, and like commented on something. So I'm like, oh, you're watching. Like this is not
you're
just
obsessed.
like
You're checking in.
yeah. So that's why I was saying like it's kind of like Erin's random person that stole her life, like on Instagram.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's someone I know. Like, and this is
Yours
before
feels a little more targeted because at least yours is not commenting on people's stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's obviously
not
great,
commenting on my
but-
stuff like constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Wow.
weird, and I would always block it, and then there'd be a new one that comes in, and and this was before an Instagram where like if you blocked
block.
one, you'll see like and block all their other accounts. So like they would just keep making them, and I'm like, it wasn't ever like hate, like it wasn't like you ugly bitch or anything, but like it was just like.
Yeah.
Are you for real? Like,
Yeah.
Like, do you think your hair looks real in this? Like, just like stuff like that. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Stop clocking me.
Yeah, like literally you're perceiving me.
Like,
I don't like it, but
It's not a heart eye emoji. Move on.
No,
Like,
yeah, seriously. And I would always delete it like right before like anyone else would see it. But I think I have a couple of screenshots or something.
That's
but
so funny.
But yeah, I would love to know
That's
like
crazy.
who that was.
Who are you?
I had
Yeah.
like maybe one or two ideas of like maybe it's this person, but
Nothing ever came to fruition.
It wasn't enough for me to like suss it out. So
That's fair. Yeah. I think I have kind of one, and it's more like nothing bad happened, but it makes me wonder, like, was I catfished? Well, yeah. So when I was a freshman in college, I don't know, I was interacting with this guy on Twitter, and I followed him on Instagram and Twitter. Like, we were chatting. Like, he replied to a few of my tweets, or I replied to his or something, and we started, like, actually chatting.
Yeah.
And there were multiple periods of time in which we were supposed to meet up at VCU, and he would cancel. But, like, at the time, catfishing was still, like, not new, but, like...
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, like, Catfish the show was popular at the time, but it was, like, just hitting its peak, you know? So I just remember, like, I don't really think about it often, but just thinking about, like, eventually we just never met up. I never sent him any money, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing ever like that. But
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, it was always so sketchy. Like, I knew in theory that he was in the same city as me because he told me blah, blah,
They're
blah.
right, supposedly.
Yeah, right. And it's like, but then nothing ever came of it. Like, was he just pretending to be someone on Twitter / Instagram? And that's very possible that he was.
Yeah.
And it doesn't impact me in any way. But it's just
BC
kind of
was
like,
a pretty big school, so really,
well, it could have been somebody. Yeah, exactly. But I just wonder, like, there's a reason you didn't want to meet up necessarily. And I'm curious to know, is it because you were a catfish? I would love to know. But I don't even remember the guy's name. I'm sure that was 2 whole Twitter accounts ago. I'll never see him again.
counting time by Twitter accounts. Oh my gosh!
So we'll never know the mystery.
I remember
of that, but
when you like were like, I'm gonna delete my Twitter account, and I was like, what? And then you're like, I'm making a new one. I'm just deleting this one.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
no, like the way I didn't even pretend to do like a cleanse or anything. I was just like, I'm just getting rid of this account, and we're gonna.
Wow.
You know, it's when you're 13 on the internet and tweeting,
you have to.
there's no
I get
way.
it.
I mean,
get it.
I don't think there was anything, but it's like even
I
just
mean,
cringy
it's
stuff.
giving what
Like,
influencers and like people should do with their Twitter accounts, like delete it. Like,
well, yeah, because
you don't need
know-
all of that.
I mean, it's like I think about, we've talked before about how there's like Glee shit on our Facebook walls that we're all privating and deleting. It's like that would have been my Twitter. So like, let's just cut the shit, delete the tweets,
Cut it
move
right
on.
now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, before 10, 15 years from now, people are like, why did you have that controversial take about Santana? Or I don't know.
and you're
if
like,
that was
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I don't even remember tweeting that. But anyway, yeah.
Seriously. Well, mine was gonna go similar to Katie's. Of we had this girl that we were friends with, online friends with.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
And I'm not gonna say her name because she might be a real person. She might be a fake person. I don't know. But we had this friend, and we met her through another mutual friend.
Yeah.
And that mutual friend was like, first of all, she's like so cool. She's like you guys' age. She was our age. And she knew 5 Sauce. Just like
knew
quickly.
5 Sauce?
Yes, she was dating
She
one of
knew
them.
5 Sauce and she dated Callum.
No, there was there were receipts, Adia. There were receipts.
There was proof.
Yeah.
there were pictures, there were videos,
Yeah,
there
guys.
was receipts. So that's why we were like, oh. And then they were like, she is the person behind Mrs. All American. And we were like, wait a second.
Guys.
But like, after we looked at it, it looked to be true. Like, the lines were adding up.
Yeah, things made sense. Like things were being told to us and they were being like corresponded with. Like things were making sense.
Exactly. It was like, and she like stayed sending us pictures, that, whatever. And we even like spoke to her on the phone.
She called us from a concert once. The three of us were on a 3-way call.
What?
Yes.
She called us and she was like, she was like, oh, I need to complain about something.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember what she was talking about.
Me neither.
But she was like, I need your advice. And we were like, okay.
Yeah.
And so we like, I think there was one time she was going to be in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, for the
and
5
I
South show.
tried to meet up with her.
Yeah, she was supposed to fly in for the Bristow show to DC.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like so tired. Because it was like the day before. She was like, I'm so tired. I can't meet up today. And I was like, okay, weird, but okay. And then she just like kept talking like everything was normal and fine. And I was like, hello?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we kind of like lose contact with her, but then we're still like friends on Facebook, friends on Insta, friends on Twitter, like everything. So I'm just like, girl, are you real or are you fake? Like, what is... and she like is posting her face, posting everything. So it's like...
posting like a real person. After we kind of lost touch with her, she got married, had 2 kids.
What?
Like, she was like, I mean, a real person for sure. She wasn't just reusing photos.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she was stealing from someone else who was like actively posting.
I
Oh,
need
there
to
are
know
people
who
who
this
had
is.
this. But now she's posting, where did her 2 kids go?
Yeah.
That's
They're off. They're completely... She posts everything about her life, but kids are just off the internet. She's divorced.
they're gone now.
They're just gone.
She doesn't have custody.
Well, for sure. But
Yeah.
it's like she removed literally every trace of them from the internet. It's crazy.
She does not have custody.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I need to know who this is.
Yeah. We can.
We'll tell you. We'll show you.
This is amazing.
The crazy. I mean, who knows? Like, I mean, we had a group chat with her. You could have been on this podcast, girl.
So the most believable thing of that is that she hooked up with Callum. Like,
Yeah.
Wow, you pieced that together so quick.
that's believable.
That's what you see. What we're saying,
like that portion. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like in the prime, like 2014,
when they were-
2015,
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it was during that time.
And there's like, I mean,
So-
she was a flight attendant, so like her going to certain places made sense. You know what I mean?
She was a flight attendant, and her like aunt worked for like
One of the
a record label.
That was unidentifiable.
And she sent me like her info.
Actually, she did
Like,
send
because
us
I was
a
like,
photo
oh, like
once.
that's my dream to work in the entertainment industry. She was like, let me send you the info of my aunt, blah, 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 here. And I was like, hello?
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
I remember feeling like a fever dream in the moment. I'm like, even at the time, we were like, "Is this real?" Like, we just don't
like, what is
know.
she
Now I'm
getting?
like, it's still a fever dream.
Yeah.
Because like,
What was she getting
we
out of
talked
it?
to her.
Well, exactly. We didn't send her any. I go by to money as the original. Like, most catfishes are like,
Any money.
well, yeah, like you want to meet up, fly me out to DC, you
Yeah,
know. But
yeah.
like, there was never
Yeah.
anything like that. It was always just like, I mean, we were just friends. I don't know. We just
Exactly.
chatted
Like
with
just
her.
the friendship, the like fangirlness. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to deep dive into this later then.
You're not
It
going to
was
find
crazy.
too much. She's like rebranded 6 times.
just
But
wiped it.
yeah, but it's okay. We'll still send
Oh
you.
my gosh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's wild.
Wow.
I would love to know if that was
crazy.
real or not. Yeah. I'm glad you thought of that, Erin.
Well, I was like, oh, that like relates to our topic, which, if anyone could guess, it's unsolved mysteries. So we're in a kind of spooky little vibe. So let's talk about it.
Well, I have one
Okay. Yeah.
solved recently solved mystery that I'd like to save for last.
Oh, okay.
Or I could do it now. I mean,
I feel like yours always take us places. You know, like when you did
They really do.
one of the Am I the Assholes, where it took us like a deep dive on that
this is-
random band. You know what I mean? Like,
it's along
was
those
crazy.
lines. It's along those
see,
lines.
I knew your vibes are always like
Yeah.
in a place.
It's-
You're like, I only have one, but it's the juiciest thing you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I will say this is pretty juicy, and it's been a 10-year mystery that's been recently solved as of this year.
Okay,
So,
10 year.
All right, take us through
okay,
it. Take us through
I'll
it.
take it away. I'll take it away.
Okay.
And if you have heard about it, just
hang tight.
Yeah,
Just
hang tight for a bit. Okay.
yeah.
The year is 2014. A dead bear has been found in Central Park.
Okay.
Now you're thinking, what? It's Central Park, New York, right? A dead bear has been found in Central Park, okay? At first, the Department of Environmental Conservation, they had said it looks like the cause of death for this bear is just blunt force trauma. This bear probably got hit by a car.
Oh.
Have you ever seen a bear in New York? Let's start there.
Right.
Let alone a bear that's hit by a car, let alone in Central Park. So, like, if the bear is getting hit by the car, how did they end up in Central Park? You know, like
Well, in Central Park, I mean, the whole point is it's center. So it's like they would have to go through
Yes, and there's
10,
not like
15
roads,
busy-ass roads.
through Central Park. Like,
Right.
the bear was found like in Central Park. Yeah, so this bear just shows up one day in Central Park, and everyone's like, how did the bear get there? How did this happen? Who hit the bear? Like, there's just all of these questions, and it's been this mystery. There was an investigation. There was like forensic stuff that they're trying to find, and they just could not crack the case. Like, the Bronx Zoo was like, we're not involved. We didn't lose a bear. Like,
Yeah.
you know, New Jersey's getting involved because they're like, well, there's a black bear population, but like everyone's trying to figure out like, how does this happen? So people are like, okay, we got to bring in a bear expert. They brought in a bear expert to try to figure out like what's going on. It was a lot of stuff. So mind you, 2014, New York City people, representatives or whatever, they're like, okay, bears are not common in the city. Like, maybe like this thing happened. Like, we found a barefoot in 2011 somewhere. So maybe like there's something going on. Like, no one really had any answers for this. So it just goes unsolved, essentially. They're just like, okay, we found a dead bear.
Blunt force trauma, whatever.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Fast forward 10 years. Fast forward 10 years. RFK Jr.
Please. I think I'm connecting some dots.
RFK Jr. is on a podcast with Roseanne Barr. He posts a clip of this interview with Roseanne Barr. And he says, you know, mind you, he's also an environmental lawyer. So this is a whole other aspect to it. So RFK, he said, he's just yapping, just talking. He said, so there was one time when I pulled over, I saw a bear, I pulled over and I put him on the back of my van because I was like, you know what? I want to skin this bear. He said the bear was in a good condition. Like, the bear is already dead at this point. So he saw this dead bear on the side of some place, somewhere.
That's kind of crazy, though, because bears are heavy. Like, it's not like you're picking up this
Literally.
500-pound bear by yourself. Like,
but yeah, so he saw this dead bear somewhere and decided he wanted to have it and skin it. And he said, you know, it's in good condition. I was going to put him in my refrigerator.
oh my God.
He said he ended up just having a really busy day with this dead bear in his car. He said he had to rush back. He had to go somewhere. He had to do all these things. He's like, and then I had to go to the airport. But the bear was in my car. I didn't want to leave the bear in the car because that would have been bad. So he said, I had a little bit of a redneck idea. he said, I had an old bike in my car that he had asked someone had asked him to get rid of. He said he said, I wasn't drinking, but people who were with me that were drinking thought it would be a good idea if I essentially put the bear in Central Park with the bike.
What?
To make it look like an accident.
Oh my God.
So, mind you, Roseanne didn't ask him, like,
Right.
like he just randomly just said, like, here's a random story about how I found a dead bear and then decided that I couldn't do anything with it.
Oh
so I
my
decided to
God.
dump it in Central Park with a bike because I also have to get rid of the bike
crazy.
too. Yeah, so he said, I was worried. My prints were all over the bike. But 10 years later, after seeing a New Yorker expose on it, he decided to come forward and say, you know, this was me. I did it.
That's wild. Like, what are the odds that it's someone who is as famous as he is? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, it could just be a
That's
regular
crazy.
person, but it's him. Like,
And he could have just left the
Right.
bear like there. Like the bear was already dead. Like
Yeah.
he didn't need to transport
Right.
this bear. But to have a
That's
dead
the thing.
bear
yeah.
in your car and they'd be like, oh shit, I had too many things
Yeah.
to do today.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta
It's
go
like
to the
he did-
airport.
It's like he didn't kill the bear, but him moving it all over the place and
right.
like putting it in Central Park, like that's
With the bike that he
Yeah.
also had to
Yeah.
dispose of.
I mean, at what
That's
point do you
so
just
crazy.
call, like, you know,
You're a Kennedy.
NPS
You
and
could call anyone.
You could literally call anyone as a Kennedy. Yeah, exactly.
and they would have taken care of the bear for you. But yeah, 10 years worth of a mystery.
That's so interesting.
so we still don't know who actually killed the
Right,
bear, but
exactly. The
he
blunt-
just
But the blunt force trauma might make sense. It could have been hit by a car and then he saw it on the side of the road. I mean,
But
that
the
would
bear,
make more
he wasn't
sense.
even like in New York. Like he was like in the outskirts of the city. Like he was
Yeah.
like not anywhere near.
I'm sure he's driving from upstate
Yeah.
or New Jersey or somewhere.
yeah, something.
So he was really riding around like with a bear. Like he was
That's
like
crazy. You know,
That's
I
just
just
so
don't
insane.
understand people. Like, it's like the trophy hunters. It's
Yeah.
like, what? I mean,
yeah. You could just buy a bear pelt. Like
Yeah,
why do you have to
exactly.
do it yourself?
exactly.
Like you're riding around with Darren and you're like, oh, I hope no one sees this alien. He had a dead bear.
yeah,
Right,
right.
A full dead bear in it, and you're like, oop, hope
For
the
hours.
police don't see me this
Hours.
with this blow up
crazy.
balloon.
Yeah.
so
So
funny.
I'm glad it was solved. I'm glad he came forward. Obviously, no repercussions are happening because I don't know if you can get charged with like improper disposal
I
of
mean, at this point, there might be a statute of limitations.
Yeah.
10 years. I don't know. I mean, what that looks like, but I doubt it's indefinite for.
but yeah,
Yeah.
those were the good
for a
times.
random
of,
bear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just Central Park has lots of crime and the random stuff that happens, but I'm sure they were stumped by that one
For sure.
for a while. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my unsolved mystery.
Yeah.
10 years later.
You know, I mean, 6 months ago
Love
would have been
that.
unsolved still, and it would have been applicable. So we just got lucky.
We did.
So true.
What a time to be RFK.
So I was looking, and did you guys hear that they might have found like parts of Amelia Earhart's plane?
You know, I feel like I heard whispers.
I
of something.
feel like I've been hearing that for a while.
Well, true.
So they're like thinking that it's like obviously like she disappeared, and people have like so many like conspiracy theories of like, oh, was she, was it just
Bermuda
crash into the
Triangle.
ocean, move on? Was she taken, like kidnapped by, I think they thought like the Japanese, which
yeah,
is
it's
you know,
Bermuda Triangle, but yeah.
and then or just like whatever. So recently in January, I think they said that they found like bits of an old plane and they think it's hers. But I was like, is that true? And so I was like searching, and people are like, I don't know. It still like doesn't really make sense of like where like kind of her path was. But the company is keeping the exact location, quiet. But they're like, oh, they found it, like sonar images and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay.
I feel
But-
like that was what, the 40s
50s maybe.
20s. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel
think-
like it was closer, but
But it's like if they can
She
find
started in the 1937. Sorry,
okay.
she
yeah,
took her flight.
if they're
took off.
finding that, that's almost 100 years.
yeah.
You know, like there's got to be some deterioration. Like what
It's
what
tough
are they
because,
using?
like, think about the Titanic, right? Like, that still is down there, and we
Yeah.
can see it and stuff. But I have heard this year that it's like finally becoming semi-unrecognizable. So it does
Yeah.
beg the question.
Mhm.
Yeah,
How far?
1937.
Yeah.
How do you know it's hers versus
Yeah.
just another?
And also, like, I mean, remember that whatchamacallit, the sub that like went down with all those billionaires. Like, I mean, they exploded, but it was like
they still
you didn't see any bits and pieces of like that. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Although they did find it.
They did,
This,
yeah.
like last
I
2
saw
weeks.
that.
Yeah.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
They found something. I mean, I think it was like the hole or something, just some random.
Yeah.
They didn't find any people or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like
that was a wild time.
That
there was
was.
literally a
That
countdown
was.
to them losing air to people.
which everybody now is like,
they were
all-
already dead.
yeah,
the whole
for sure.
time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, whatever.
But
If you got the money to do that, but that's separate.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
you're right. That's neither here nor there.
You signed the whatever.
Seriously, it was
The
just like so
waiver.
crazy that they were like how they were controlling that like submarine.
Please.
Anyway, that's a whole nother.
I know. That mystery was solved this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Gosh.
But
yeah. Gosh. Okay.
It's just
Amelia
so
Earhart.
crazy that like now 100 years later they're like finally it's like finding some pieces maybe
Right.
you know, and like
Maybe.
how have we not?
You know,
Anyway.
I don't know about you guys I mean, I guess it's still technically unsolved, but I always kind of felt like somebody said that she was probably eaten by like turtles or something.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that was probably, or
That's what I think too.
I don't know if turtles is the right one, but I do kind of feel like there was, because they never,
Just like eaten by an animal, like her and her
Yeah.
like co-pilot. Like I feel like
because the way there was never a
Something.
body or anything
Yeah.
like that. I mean, well, and I guess the whole plane, but
I mean, we still can't
I
find
know some like
planes now.
there are those
the
like
Malaysia plane that just
True.
disappeared.
exactly.
That's gonna be a manifest situation.
That's,
They're just gonna
those
like
are crazy. Like
they're
hello.
just gonna come right back in one day and be like 5 years in the future. That's gonna be
We're
crazy.
like, hey, what's up? Like you've been gone for 30 years.
yeah.
I do have another
That
mystery I
was-
forgot. I just remembered.
Okay, Slay.
I'm just.
Okay.
I'm not going to slide it in now, but
Okay.
I'm just saying. I do.
Okay.
have-
Okay. I was like,
I know. Well, I have one that you guys have probably heard of, but I want us to discuss it a little bit, and maybe not what you're thinking we're going to discuss, but that's okay. I have prepared like the DB Cooper hijacking situation.
Oh yeah.
You guys
Okay.
know our
Yes.
man DB.
Yes.
Well, I do have the FBI's website up, and I will walk us through a little bit, and then we can discuss.
Okay.
here's the FBI website.
Ooh.
Well, I was like,
All right,
I need
agent.
something like that
Fitting.
walks me through it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want
For
like
sure.
whatever. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to go kind of as fast as I can, I guess. So in 1971, a nondescript man calling himself Dan Cooper approached the counter of Northwest Orient Airlines in Portland, Oregon. He used cash to buy a one-way ticket bound for Seattle, Washington. Cooper was a quiet man who appeared to be in his mid-40s. He was wearing a business suit, black tie, white shirt. He ordered a bourbon and soda while the flight was waiting to take off. A short time after 3 p.m., he handed the stewardess a note indicating that he had a bomb in his briefcase and wanted her to sit with him. The stunned stewardess did as she was told. Opening a cheap attaché case, Cooper showed her a glimpse of a mass of wires and red-colored sticks and demanded she write down what he told her. I love that image of just like, I love the way it's described. A mass of wires and red-colored sticks. Like, okay, we stand.
DIY queen.
No,
He
literally.
threw things together.
For
Yeah.
sure. Enough to make it look real. And you know, it got him places. Did it? Anyway.
It really did.
Soon she was walking a new note to the captain of the plane that demanded 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills. When the flight landed in Seattle, the hijacker exchanged the flight's 36 passengers for the money and parachutes. He kept several crew members, and the plane took off again, and he ordered a course for Mexico City. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, a little after 8 p.m., the hijacker did the incredible. He jumped out of the back of the plane with a parachute and the ransom money. The pilots landed safely, but Cooper had disappeared into the night, and his ultimate fate remains a mystery to this day. The FBI learned of the crime in flight and immediately opened an extensive investigation that lasted many years. They interviewed hundreds of people, tracked leads across the nation, and scoured the aircraft for evidence. By the 5-year anniversary of the hijacking, the FBI had considered more than 800 suspects and eliminated all but 24 from consideration.
That's wild.
I know. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it, I guess. There are like other pieces, like they didn't include this, so I don't know how real it is, but I'd heard that he left his tie when he jumped from the plane. So they've used that to kind of look for additional evidence.
Or like DNA and stuff.
Yeah, they tried DNA and they did find that his tie had all these random rare metals. So they kind of think that he was like a Boeing associate, worked for the plane. But there are tons of suspects. They have a few listed on this website. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to discuss, what do you guys think happened to DB Cooper after he fell out of this plane with parachutes and $20,000 or $200,000 in $20 bills?
I feel like he probably like broke his leg, broke his neck. Like if you're not trained to like land properly, like with a parachute after like jumping out of a plane, like I feel like you're gonna break something. Like even when I see videos of people like parachuting and then like they have someone on their back, like still the impact like when you hit the ground like is so crazy. But you have someone there who's like who's done it before, so it's like I don't know, I feel like he might have
just died on impact.
D-worded or something, and then cooked. Like some animals ate him.
Yeah, cooked from the beginning. I think if he's going to DIY a briefcase with bombs, I don't have high hopes for him surviving, like in the wilderness or anything like that, you know?
You know, since like people have said, you know, given his outfit choice and, you know, some of the decisions he made, they don't really believe that he was a trained parachuter.
No.
Definitely not.
Rumor has it was raining. There was like gusts of wind. And it's like, somebody did say like an experienced parachuter probably would not jump in that kind of situation, you know, without seeing the ground, without knowing, especially because it was night, I guess, at the time that he jumped. I know that was always my first thought too, is that he died
crazy.
Like on impact, but they never found a body or anything. They did find some of the money.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember how they found it, but it was like in like a river. I mean, just like random bits of it though, like not a whole briefcase or anything. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like there was never a body, so it's possible that something happened. I mean, somebody on their deathbed pretended to be him. Or like, well,
interesting.
Pretended.
Why is that something you want to pretend?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's so interesting. I mean, I don't, there's just so many possibilities, but I guess this guy like told his wife, like, I have something to tell you. And she's like, damn, like he's about to tell me he cheated on me, whatever. And he's like, I'm DB Cooper. And she's like, what? And he like died. But I guess
dramatic.
The FBI ruled that man out, I think. But it's just like, I mean, it's possible, like if he just happened to survive and just became like some random, but I don't know. There was never a body found.
But again, he doesn't seem like smart enough to be like changing his identity, going through those like things, and no.
It's so tough because he's nondescript. That's like the whole gag. Like he's got these sunglasses
like a regular guy.
Yeah. But I don't know. My inclination is he probably didn't survive that jump for sure.
Oh no.
Where his body is, who knows? That's the mystery I want solved.
Yeah. And I thought that like when you do parachuting, you have to be at a certain altitude, and like airplane altitude is.
He ordered them not to go above 10,000 feet. I don't know. That seems a little high still, but I don't know. Yeah. They didn't make it definitely to like your average flight.
I was gonna say then. He was definitely done.
I mean, 10,000 still sounds high.
It does.
I did parachuting, and I don't think we went that high.
No, that's a lot.
Yeah, but. I love that mystery. I think it's so interesting, and it's kind of like
that is so interesting.
Nobody was harmed in it except for him, right? Like he didn't actually bomb anybody. He didn't actually like
have a bomb.
Well,
he let the passengers go when he got the money.
Exactly.
Why did they have so much money on the plane?
Well, they stopped in Seattle, and his demands were met there.
Oh,
so I think I don't know if like the local authorities or if the FBI gave the money, or I don't know exactly.
I'm assuming like the flight deck or whoever, like the captain was like, we need $200,000, and they were like
200 bands right now.
I mean, $200K in 1970.
That's a milli.
Honestly,
for sure. Yeah, a milli these days. Like in 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's he didn't even have enough
try my best
to carry that in 20s.
That's what he asked for. Yeah.
could he
Well, I mean, I guess it would be like sus if he was just walking around with a bunch of hundreds.
I think that was his whole thing. Yeah, he didn't want it to seem suspicious, like when he made it.
But he has a whole bag of $200,000. So
When the thing is, when they found the money, like they know what series they gave him. So when they found some of it, they're like, oh, this was part of the you know the bands we gave him. Like you can trace that still,
like
even with
when
20s.
he exploded, the money probably just dispersed across the air.
He just pulled like what they did in the Titanic thing. Just exploded in the air.
Imploded. That's the thing. Everyone was arguing, did they implode or explode?
It's like, come on.
All these scientists coming out. This is what implosion is. I'm like, oh my God, please.
So
Just I'm taking an SOL or something.
I feel like we should have prepped for that. Like, look at us. We can't get away from that mystery. But
jeez. Well,
yeah.
Good for him, I guess.
Yeah,
for trying.
I love a DB Cooper situation. I know, because when I was looking up Unsolved Mysteries, a lot of them were like murders, and it's like, I don't want to like be like
I want like a
guy.
mystery, like a Nancy Drew type stuff.
100%.
You know?
Where did that guy go with that 200K? Where did he go? Nowhere. But
I do have one mystery that has just perplexed me for a while, and
go ahead.
And it's been researched since Secret Lives of Mormon Wives have come out.
Oh,
and that mystery is, so Joseph Smith said, you know, the whole thing is that he found these golden tablets, right? But only he could read them, and he had to bury them, and he could translate it by looking in a hat, all of this stuff. But going deeper into the lore of Joseph Smith, he wrote the Book of Mormon and would have things going on in the Book of Mormon that he claimed to be like fact. Like, this was a fight between these Native Americans and these people at this place. And he does this throughout the entire book. But yet, like, there have been no artifact, like not a spear, not like anything found at these places that he says that they happen, or he will reference animals or plant, like things that did not exist, like in the United States yet. Like,
so the thing is I need you, when we go to Salt Lake City, I need you to come with me, because the whole church museum, it's amazing. You would love it. It's a whole thing.
It.
But the thing is like, it's all fake.
Yes.
I mean, like, for sure, it's not a mystery. It didn't happen.
No.
I mean,
because
this man, Joseph Smith, he was like 17 or 18 years old. So he's like, he was literally just a kid being like, oh, this is what I saw, people. And the real mystery is, how did this 17, 18-year-old get so many people to follow him and be like, you know what? Joe was correct. Joseph said,
so that's my
saw this, and that's crazy.
Yeah, that's my tea. When I was at this church museum, I'm like, okay, they take you back to the beginning, and it's like, in 1907, 19.
Literally, that's the gag. It's so soon.
It might have been 18,
like so recent.
Even 1800. I'm like, 1800 is too soon for y'all to be claiming this. Like, it happened. And the thing, this is getting too deep. But like, my whole thing with a lot of religious things that happen is like, this man just saw Jesus in the woods. That's what he's claiming. He was walking in his backyard. And he saw him in the woods. It's like, were you not just like purging toxic mushrooms that you accidentally ate? You know what I mean? Like,
literally,
the 1800s. We are not identifying food correctly. Like,
you
like
had
things
E. coli, you know,
exactly,
botulism, like.
And I'm so sorry to the Mormons, because I feel bad reaming you guys like this, but it's just like, there's just no way.
Like, at least with the
it's
Bible,
like, how are these matching?
There
are
like historical like things, like this city did exist. This did, you know,
the Veil of Veronica exists.
Yes, but
you
like,
can point to it.
Book of Mormon, he was just, it's fan fiction. It is literally OG fan fiction.
Yeah, he's like, okay, the Middle East is over. America is where it's at. Let's vamp this shit up.
Jesus is gonna come to America.
For
sure.
And we all get our own planet, so don't get it twisted.
After resurrection, I gotta go to America.
New world, baby. I mean,
and you get a planet, and you get a planet, and like, what?
But only if you're a man. Don't get it twisted. Like, men rule, girls drool.
And only
he was probably like, nobody talked to him in high school, so he was like, "Ew, girls."
He's making his own world.
Like, he's
literally.
like, they must follow the man. The man is the head of the household. Like, it's all making sense of this, like,
It's all adding
17,
up.
18-year-old,
It's
like,
just, yeah.
coming up with this.
I found these golden tablets, but only I can read them.
Yeah. They have
Yeah.
fake ones at the church museum,
Which is-
that you can like play with.
I'm
It's
sure
like-
they do.
It's a time. It's free.
It's
Girl,
like-
I need you there.
It's like
I
being in
need
school,
you.
and you're like, yeah.
Okay, so like when because I'll be there.
I'm ready.
Seriously, because I literally had the time of my life in Salt Lake City, because all the, like, I feel bad because it's like
Disneyland.
It's giving like my culture is not your costume, but it's like I'm walking through this museum and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
do you mean
Yeah.
about some of this stuff?
Planets,
You know what I mean?
different terrestrial, celestial, like
Yeah.
there's just it's so many mysteries
Yeah.
there that
It's fan fiction. It is. That's exactly.
it is fan
He
fiction.
It
said
literally
we
is.
need the Bible for America so it's relatable to people, and he did that.
Elohim.
God.
Yeah. Just
God.
anyway, but that is one of
So
my favorite
crazy.
ones of like,
Forget this segment.
please.
Forget it.
Not
Oh
to
my God.
offend, like, because,
No,
you know,
that's what I feel
listen,
bad about.
Yeah, you can believe anything you want to believe.
Exactly.
That's totally okay. But I feel like if you're going to believe something, like, let's look at
It's
it.
like
Let's
Let's think about it a
let's
little bit.
do some critical thinking here.
Yeah.
17-year-old finding golden tablets
That no one else can.
that
read.
no one else can read. Jesus coming to America in the 1800s. Mind you, what were people doing before? Whatever. We could keep.
I know.
We could keep
The
going on it.
1800s is what really gets me, because when I walked in and they're like, in 18 whatever he saw, I'm like, what do you mean? People have been in America for 200 years. Like,
Literally.
are the indigenous Americans were there before, but still, like,
Yeah.
the New World or whatever, they've been
Yeah.
here for 200 years.
Yeah.
The first like colonists. So like, what do you mean 1800? The Industrial Revolution, like same time as this
Yeah.
religion started.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just not adding up.
It isn't. Yeah.
But yeah, seeing Secret Lives of Mormon Wives have definitely rekindled my interest in all the mysteries of the Book of Mormon.
It's
and
amazing.
How
It's
they're
just
like
Mormonism, just in general, I'm like, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
It
Because
is.
that is crazy.
yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
it's those people's real lives. So it's
yeah.
like,
Well, more power to him,
Yeah.
I guess. No hate.
Exactly. If you listen to this and you felt hate, we apologize. Let's get that out there
Yeah.
up front.
No hate at all.
That was not our intention.
none.
Whatever. That's a bad apology.
I was like, okay. As we're all cackling still. So funny.
Yeah, don't let our opinions sway what you believe in, unless
We're just
you
three
believe
gals
in,
yapping.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what do we actually know? Lots of
exactly.
things,
No,
but-
It's
yeah.
not just Joseph Smith. Some of those people in the desert seeing bushes burn. I mean, it's the desert, baby. Bushes are burning.
Bushes are burning.
That's real. Bushes are burning, baby.
There are more artifacts, though. That's
what I'm saying.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
True.
But, whatever.
But it's interpretation and like all that stuff. But some stuff, it's like, well, how can we fucking interpret it if Joseph's the only guy that knows
I
it?
know.
Joseph is the only one.
when I think...
I just like can't even imagine like just following one person like that and being
exactly.
like their word is like completely law. Like one is real person who I'm like, oh, they live down the street. I'm following them, like
I know,
for
it's
sure.
so interesting because I feel like the Pope is like a similar situation, but they are rooted in something else. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like the Pope
Yeah, but
was just like
the
one
Pope
day.
in like Catholicism has like the
Roots in the-
Bible,
exactly.
But then he's like
Exactly.
just like a figurehead in it. He's not like I wrote the Bible,
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
kind of thing. So it's
exactly,
like I
exactly.
guess that's more like believable.
Yeah.
but
It's just so interesting because I don't know. This might just be something I'm like misremembering from when I was there, but I think they have heads of churches still, like the Mormon church. There's like one guy that
The bishops
keep it,
or something.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
yeah, they have
And
like one. They have
big
like
figurehead.
I can't remember what
they
it
do.
is, but then it's like the priests.
Yeah, but I think the
Huh?
main guy, I think he can read. I think
Like,
he has the power
he's
to
a
read
prophet.
the gold, like Joseph
Yeah,
did.
they
Like
say
it
they're
passes.
prophets.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what it is. The prophets, and then they have the priests,
Yeah.
and then they have
Yeah, because they have an annual
whoever,
meeting,
so.
an annual
Yeah.
conference every year where the prophet
yes,
says things that he's
yep.
Yeah.
profited.
Because I'm like
He
the gold
says
tomes
the
make their
prophecy.
way, but yeah,
Yeah.
that they get the power to read the tomes when they become that
Which
makes
is
sense.
you just get the power.
Yeah,
Just get it.
You see what you want to see on those gold
That's
tones.
That's real.
If it was up to me, I'd be saying some wild stuff. Because who's gonna check me? You know, like who's gonna be like,
literally,
nah, that's
you're
wrong.
like, I prayed and I saw this.
That's why they got the bad rap with polygamy, because one of them was like, that's cool, and then 50 years later they were like, no, they don't do it anymore.
Wait a minute.
We'll set the record straight. They don't do that anymore. They made that very adamant when I was in Utah.
Yeah.
But that's why they got the bad rap, because one dude was just like, you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a vibe. Like,
And they go with it.
But also, it's like there are some fundamentalists who are still out there who do that.
Yes.
I mean, like
They're
Sister Wives is still a poppin' show. Like,
they're technically excommunicated according to the church. They may still
I know,
identify,
but,
but it's a whole thing.
they still claim Mormon.
I know.
and claim that their religion tells them to do that. So,
because that was when I went to what's his name's house, Brigham Young's house. They made that very clear. They were like, we do not condone this.
Mormons have the best PR of any organization.
You think?
they really do. The
100%.
day that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives dropped, like the church released a statement. And I was
They're
like,
so good with PR.
that's fast.
It's like insane. They're trying to rebrand instead of being called Mormons. They want to be called LDS.
Oh yeah, that's been kind of a thing.
Yeah, they've been trying to push that for a while.
for a while, I feel.
Anyway, not that this is the Mormon show, but I do love the
But if it is, my old roommate is ex-Mormon, and she was like, she loves the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She's like talking, and she was like, if you guys ever want me in pod to answer these questions, because she went on a mission, she did all that, she grew up, and then she left the church. So
damn, sis.
Low-key, we might need to have her on.
I think so.
yeah, I'll let her know.
Put the bug in her ear.
So many questions.
I know.
Jeez.
Seriously. Well, let's move on to our loves and icks.
I think I only have one love this week, and I think you guys are going to love this too. So there were some rumors going around about Sabrina Carpenter lip syncing on tour.
Oh yes, okay, I saw this. I saw
somebody
this.
like went online and kind of like broke it down where they were like, she is singing live, but it's like 30% of the time, 40% of the time's a lip sync, and they did like all these crazy numbers. And then Sabrina commented on it and said something about, my mic's always on or something. She said something.
She's like, I sing the whole 100% of the time. Like,
but then
don't play.
After she commented that, her next tour date, she removed all the backtracks from every song, so you could hear her just singing on the mic,
or like live.
I know.
And I was like, that is a queen. That's a pop star.
Exactly.
Like
so
she is it.
I love that she didn't just comment. She was like, you know what? Fuck it. One more step further. No backtracks this concert.
What now? You know,
incredible.
Exactly. So I love that.
Okay, Slay, my loves and icks. I have a couple for each. First love, one of the girlies that me and Katie went to college with is on Love is Blind DC. And that dropped
We'll send you that too.
like yesterday. So Katie's old roommate from
College.
freshman year.
What?
Yeah, we lived together for 2 years. Yeah.
This isn't the one
true.
that
Yeah.
you got in a fight with at Christian's Pizza, is
No.
it?
different one, but
okay.
we did also have a little bit of a falling out. And I'm sorry, girl.
There was a
we're
little
back
falling
a
out.
little bit, but like, yeah, it was not in the same way though, which is good.
But they're on Love is Blind DC, so I will be tuning in. Everyone tune in.
Oh my god.
And then I went shopping with my friend Skylar this past weekend, and we went to this mall down in Torrance. First of all, it took me 45 minutes to get there, or 50 minutes. And I said, oh, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. But then I was there and she was like, oh, I just have a couple shops that I want to, pop into. And I was like, okay, like I'm just here to hang. And then we're getting Din Tai Fung. So I was like, we love that. Anyway, so they had a bunch of these like little trinket stores, and there were so many blind boxes that are in these stores. So me and Skylar just like our gambling habits, I guess, popped out, and I was just like buying all these blind boxes and just like, what am I getting? What am I getting? What am I getting? So we love that. My icks. Which one do I start with? One, I hate that I keep getting a TikTok ad that starts with, if you're a girly and not a millionaire, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, first of all, wait a minute. Like, who is this targeted to? Because, like, not me. So I hate that. Second, I got a letter in the mail today, or not today, this past week from my health insurance. Usually they raise like every, year they raise the health insurance like 10, 15, maybe even $20. This year they are raising it by 55%.
55%.
And I was like, exactly. It was like $126 something that they are raising my health insurance. And I was like, so your girl will just be health insurance less.
Yeah, I did that. I had to do that
Moving
for a
on.
while.
And then, I'm like, there's no point. I'm not paying that. That's insane. And then the piece of information that ruined my literal entire week is that one of my favorite soccer players, who I literally just bought a jersey for, Anton Griezmann, is retiring from international soccer duty. And it is just so crazy because he's 33. He's in his prime. He's like not like, usually they'll be like, oh, we're retiring at like 36, 37. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But this man, 33, constantly starts with his club team, was constantly starting with the French national team. And so he announced that. So next week when they go on like international duty, he will not be on the lineup. And I'll be sad because me and my sister literally just bought Griezmann jerseys.
Man.
Anyway,
That's so messed
we move on.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was just like so crazy. And I was like, that's ruined my whole Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, like the everything. So, but it is what it is. That's sports for you. Anyway.
Yeah, don't even get me started on sports.
My team, my like number one team has been winning, and I'm like, okay, slay. Usually they're not winning, and so it's a moment. But my other teams have been losing, and I'm like, girl, what we talking about? Like, this is like the simplest team, or like this is an easy team for you to play.
You would think.
What's happening?
You would think.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts and on social media. Close Friends List Pod. We love you. Bye.
Bye.